Right now, Americans have $1.5 trillion in student loans. That's trillion with a T. To put it differently, America's gross domestic product, according to World Bank, is $19.3 trillion. They say we're in the middle of a student loan epidemic. If that's the case, they ought to make a quilt in Washington dedicated to everyone who fell for this trap. This madness is crippling my generation. We've gotten to the point where companies are literally giving loan forgiveness compensation packages like a 401k. Even those who understand that this is a problem are still contributing to it. There is only one way this problem is going to solve itself, and that's when people stop taking out loans. Unfortunately, the reason people take out loans in the first place is to pay for the high cost of tuition, which is high because of the demand, which is because of this fictional idea pushed onto America's youth that a post-secondary education is mandatory for success. Getting a college education in America is, in a lot of ways, similar to getting married. Society looks at both like major life milestones, and they often are. They bring a sense of pride and accomplishment, looked back upon fondly, and cost a shit ton. But when one breaks the pomp and circumstance down to its roots, they're both there for only one purpose: qualification. Getting a marriage shows one is qualified to spend their life with their significant other. Getting a college education demonstrates to one's boss they are qualified to be their employee. Someone might love college, but then they drop out halfway through. Now they have nothing to show for the thousands of dollars they blew because they thought they were being smart. Someone may love their significant other until they're cheated on. What's that piece of paper worth then? These tragedies have far-reaching implications because society's definition of being qualified, end quote, isn't always true. One could be a fuck-up and drift through college like a plank of wood floating down a river. One could be a fuck-up and convince another to marry them. Just ask your Uncle Dave. A piece of paper doesn't always reflect the internal values or practical skills one needs to have a successful career. Now, as for the parents, because they're not getting off the hook. Parents are not legally obligated to pay for their children's post-secondary education, but the education aspect of the career path is a necessary step into adulthood. It's the responsibility of the parent to guide their children into education. Don't confuse this with hand-holding. This is guidance. The cost of college is so astronomical, it's almost a necessity for the parent to contribute in some way. At the same time, parents need to use discretion before financially helping their children. Funding a young adult's bad decisions is a form of neglect, but then again, so is refusing to help pay for a valid career choice. Now is time for the rant where I pick on social workers. Now, I just want to preface this by saying, if you are a social worker and you love your job, great, I'm happy for you. But you probably understand by now that you're not going to make $80,000 a year, right? Statistically speaking, you're probably not going to make $36,000 a year. So why would you go to college, rack up $100,000 in debt, and then get a job that only pays $36,000 a year? Alright, social workers, I'm done. Thank you to all the social workers watching this video, being good sports about it. Alright, now moving on to the dropouts. About 54% of all students graduate within 6 years. The rest either take longer to graduate, or they drop out. There are some people that romanticize the idea of being a dropout and having great success, but the Kanye Wests and Mark Zuckerbergs of the world had clear defined career goals that college was interfering with. We have college completely backwards in this country, and that's because we go to college to get a major. I propose something new. College for a career, not a major. College only boils down to 2 checkboxes. If you have these checkboxes marked, then college is right for you. 1, you have a clear career path picked out. And 2, you can pay for it. Most people dick around with the first one for years, and the second one is frequently an afterthought. Now, there's some out there that disagree with this line of thinking, but I'm willing to bet $1.5 trillion that I'm right. A college education isn't always completely necessary to land a career, but it can often help. If a career path is unknown, that's a bigger problem than not going to school. This is DM Alexander, signing off. Have a good one.